Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eric Worre, and welcome to NetworkMarketingPro.com. I have on our show today, and for this week, one of the network marketing profession's legends, Mr. Mark Yarnell, author of Your First Year in Network Marketing, and I don't know, many, many more books. But I was talking with Mark, and first of all, Mark, thanks for being on the show. I appreciate it very much.
You bet. Thanks for having me, Eric.
I'm in the Ukraine. You're in Canada. Technology connects us. It's an amazing thing. But we were talking about personal development, and Mark was talking about kind of a new program that he'd come out with recently, I guess you could say, called the Lotus Code. And since personal growth is such a huge part of network marketing success, and Mark, you know that it is, and why don't you just talk about that as we start for maybe a minute. Why is personal development, personal growth, so important inside of the network marketing profession?
Well, I think you and I have discussed this at length, and we're both on the same page here. I mean, basically, network marketing is all about personal development. In fact, I think that's, and you know, I think you said this once in one of our former interviews. Network marketing depends on a person's willingness to rise to their full potential and improve themselves through personal development. So that's probably what makes our industry so interesting. Instead, you know, we've all heard the pyramid argument.
Right.
And instead of starting at the bottom of a pyramid like Microsoft or Shell or TWA and attempting to claw your way to the top through bureaucratic structures and, you know, who do you know and how politically inclined are you? We actually start at the very top of our own pyramid and succeed by filling in the bottom, which is a wonderful way to do capitalism. But of necessity, in order to fill in the bottom and elevate other people, we have to be very personally developed. And so I really think the two are almost synonymous. Network marketing, personal development. They go hand in hand. And the more successful people become, I believe it has to do a great deal with their willingness to read, learn, grow, watch programs like this, pay particular attention to rising their full potential so they can lift other people up in this whole structure. So I think they're synonymous almost.
Yeah. Well, tell me about the Lotus Code, or tell the audience about the Lotus Code. How, you know, where did this come from, and how did it develop, and what does it mean?
Well, it's kind of interesting, Eric, because for years I could tell people what I had done, and people used to call me all the time and they'd ask of me, what did you do? What's the secret to network marketing? And I didn't really know the answer. And you know, as a leader, you try to manufacture concepts that'll help people rise to their full potential. So for years and years and years, I would basically explain to people what I thought allowed me to be successful. But I really didn't know. I wasn't sure. I was reading a book one day, and I ran across a 6-step system that was developed 2,500 years ago by an Eastern theologian. And as I read these steps, I realized this was the first time I had come face to face with the strategies and systems that had actually allowed me to rise to my full potential. So what I like to tell people is, I can't take credit for the Lotus Code concepts. You know, they were created 2,500 years ago. And actually, they apply to all elements of life, not just network marketing. But I blundered into it, and I became so excited about it, Eric, because for the first time, it gave me clarity on what I was able to do in the industry. Just blundered into it.
So 2,500 years ago, I think it's true what they say, there's no new truth in the world. You know, people come out with The Secret, or even Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret. You go all the way back to the Bible. I mean, there's so many things, so many themes that tend to repeat when it comes to human achievement, you know, for all of our history. It's
absolutely. It's fascinating to me. I can honestly say over the last 25 years, I haven't bumped into one new novel idea, but I have bumped into some great terminology and new ways of packaging old materials that have always been very effective. And that's kind of what the Lotus Code is.
Okay. Well, let's talk about it. These 6 steps. Talk about the 6 steps. And you've talked about it a little bit like it's a It's almost like a pendulum, or it's not a pendulum, but it's like a, what do you call it, teeter-totter?
Yeah, kind of think of it as a teeter-totter. Probably the best way to imagine it is 6 elements of the Lotus Code are these. And this is the exact wording that I read that so fascinated me. This guy wrote, thoughts manifest words, words manifest actions, actions manifest habits, habits manifest perseverance, and perseverance manifests attainment. So what I like to tell people is imagine a teeter-totter that begins with the very bottom part at thoughts.
Okay.
And imagine all 6 of these elements, thoughts, words, actions, habits, perseverance, and attainment, kind of going up to the right on a teeter-totter. Now, the fulcrum position is right in between actions and habits. So that what excites me about the Lotus Code principle is even though in the first 3 steps you seem like you're pushing a boulder up a teeter-totter, and it's difficult because it's angular, there's a point that this man wrote about where we reach the fulcrum position and the teeter-totter tends to balance. That's the fulcrum position that's directly between the idea of actions and habits. In other words, once your actions, if they're good, and even if they're not, but once your actions become habitual, suddenly the teeter-totter slips downward, and almost like you're sliding down a buttery slope, you arrive at attainment as a natural byproduct of the first 3.